I'm a non-woke moderate Democrat. I think the GOP needs to be destroyed. I think the corrupt criminal government of Trump needs to be slowed down. We need to impeach the orange. It's time to put this nigga in a peach. Trump needs to be placed inside of a crystal. He needs to be impeached. This fat orange, tiny hands needs to be impeached. And then in 28, no Vance, no Rubio. We have to burn down the whole party.
Illuminati is a thing you need to watch out for. They want to depopulate and slave us so much more. World domination, I'll get into that later. I'm hardcore, fierce and sexy. You're just a hater. You deserve the ridicule because you're an absolute zero. I'm the keeper of the chalice, a rock and roll hero. I'm not an idiot nobody listens to, because I'm not a failure in life like you. Let's talk about Bill Gates and the mark of the beast and the orgies in the streets at the Catholic feasts and Bill and Hillary's human trafficking ring. And George Soros got the money to pay for everything. Socialism is for losers, working for the devil. Chumps that can't fight, they ain't on my level. It takes an evil one to try to debunk and doubt it, so I'd rather die than stop talking about it. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out for the Illuminati.
I absolutely had to, actively participate in an election that I absolutely knew that we'd go down. Like after the assassination, people have absolutely forgotten the difference between Zapruder or Butler is half an inch, and that would have been that. And how horrific it is that.
Horrific, yes.
Yeah, and I can't imagine the shape of our country if he has been. I can't imagine. Thank God for a lot of reasons why that was unsuccessful, and people forgot that. I think in my views, and then after when Anderson Cooper asked Harris, so you think he's a fascist? Yeah, I do, and that means. People that if he's a fascist, that must mean, I must be a fascist too. And if you know and love a lot of people that have voted for him, I know they aren't fascist.
It's the MC Too Tall Show with your hardcore, fierce, and sexy host that is never gross, MC Too Tall. As it says right here on my shirt. Let me get up and show you. Okay, good. So, I'm matching the hat again with the shirt. Just this one night engagement or 1 day engagement. Happy Tuesday, everybody. So anyway, a switch off. We're talking about a switch off, or almost a switch off. We had John Fetterman. If you saw the video, he was talking about, with Bill Maher, how the rhetoric between people has been vicious and violent, how he wasn't exactly in support of the big, beautiful bill, but he was in no support for a government shutdown, which, of course, was aptly titled the Schumer shutdown. And he's gotten more and more disgusted, I mean really disgusted, with the Democrat Party. And he even stated, it's not on record, but it's been said that he's going to go independent. He's going to go independent. Usually, when people leave the left, they go independent and then eventually Republican, or end up being part of Republican administrations. Look at Tulsi Gabbard, for example. Intelligence Secretary there. She's part of the Trump administration. RFK Jr., who I believe is still registered as an independent, but he's Health and Human Services Secretary for Donald Trump's administration. And then you have grifters like Nick Fuentes, just wanting to keep the cliques hot. And now he's saying just any old thing, just to stir the pot, just to create controversy. And now he's saying that he's a non-woke Democrat. Are there any of those around anymore? If you're a non-woke Democrat, you're a slave to the woke agenda. You are a slave with the radical wing of the Democrat Party. Now, thank God he's not a politician. Thank God he's not running for office, because there are people out there that would actually vote for him. There really are. He's more popular than AOC, in my opinion now. I mean, you ask anybody that's kind of sort of drifting and grifting away from MAGA, and they'll still take Nick Fuentes over AOC if he was to run for office. And he's urging people to vote Democrat. And I don't know if you saw the Jake Monroe clip, but it's something I've been saying all along. You let the Democrats back in, it's going to be more weird stuff. 5-year-olds getting transitioned without their parents' knowledge or consent. All kinds of rapes and murders throughout the United States. You let the left in, you're going to get more of that. You let the left back in, then the cross-dressing kindergarten teacher telling little Billy he's supposed to be a girl is right back there in the classroom doing the craziness. The total, utter craziness will be back in the classrooms. The violence will be back in our subways, back in our streets. It really hasn't left from our blue cities, but it'll be affecting the rural towns again. And it's just sick. It's just sick to want these sickos back in power again. To do what? Punish the Republican Party? Ted Cruz is still going to live in the nice big house he lives in. Dan Crenshaw, who's not even in politics anymore, is still going to live in a nice big house he lives in. Nancy Mace is still going to live in a nice house that she lives in. I mean, you're not really punishing them. They still have jobs, and the only difference is when there's a Democrat in the White House, they get to bitch a little bit more. But we, the people, are affected by it. Why give radical leftists their power back? They have a communist agenda. Communism is wrong. But then again, Nick Fuentes thinks Stalin is cool. And, there's a red line right there. There's the red flag right there, in more ways than one. He says Stalin is cool. He also said Hitler's cool. But I happen to think Stalin's even worse than Hitler. I'm not saying that Hitler's some white angel all of a sudden, but there are people worse than Adolf Hitler. Stalin was one of them. Mao Zedong was another. Pol Pot another. Ho Chi Minh, Nobody does cruelty like the communists. They even have the Islamists beat. And that is saying a lot. So why put these people in power? Why put these people who idolize Che Guevara back in power. It makes no sense. I mean, John Fetterman, I needs some good vetting before he becomes a full-fledged Republican, but I'll take him as an independent. I'm okay with that. He's probably was the one last voice of reason on the left, and he no longer wants to associate with the left anymore. Something to think about, food for thought. Sit on that, sleep on that, but don't tweak on that. Tweaking's no good. Respect God, watch out for the Illuminati. Like, follow, share, comment, subscribe. You gotta subscribe. I need some subscribers. Stay strong, keep kicking that slang. It's your boy in the building, MC Too Tall.